Give me what I want. Give me what I want. You know what I want. Give me what I want, or I'm going to continue to hurt people you love. Give me what I want. Give me what I want. You know what I want. You just don't want to give it to me. Give it to me. Give me what I want.
We're going to give you what you want.
That's not what I want.
What's up? AW in order, presenting you latest SmackDown for wrestling and sports related topics, content. This will be a sports stream, not a wrestling stream. This will be a sports stream. Welcome to all Let's Talk Sports. Sports Mayhem. This is episode 5 of Sports Mayhem. As you can see, that's my title. Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to be talking about golf. Yeah, surprisingly, I'll be talking about golf. Also, I'll be talking about hockey and NHL and some baseball. NBA Finals and NHL Stanley Cup may come to an end very well, possibly the next 2 days. Possibly the NBA Finals tomorrow and the NHL Stanley Cup Tuesday. Possibly both finals possibly ending the next 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. And we got some stuff here in my description that I have not put here, and some stuff I have not put there. So, if you're into sports, this is a stream for you, man. If you're not, into sports, sorry, I had to do something there. Well, you can listen anyway. It's always up to you. Okay. All right. So why am I doing golf? Well, it's a pretty big story in the world of golf. Now, really, really big story in the world of golf. Okay. As you know, there were 2 major golf leagues out there, right? PGA and Live. Live was kind of young and new. Obviously, it was started by the Saudis, Saudi Arabia. It was a league the Saudi created, and it hampered out a lot of money for some of the best golfers in the world. And those are like Brooks Koepka, Bruce DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, lots of money. Now, PGA and Live did not like each other. The PGA did not like each other, especially the golfers in PGA. Say anybody that went to Live, is a traitor, backstabbed the PGA, agreed before was right. And Live did offer some pretty hefty contracts to some PGA golfers that turned them down, like Tiger Woods, for example. Tiger Woods turned them down. And some others, like Warren McIlroy. Warren McIlroy was pro PGA. And the commissioner of the PGA, for a time being, was always shitting on Live. Okay? For the past year or two. And the times they were forbidding the Live players to play in their PGA tournaments, but they decided to relax that and let Live players actually participate in some PGA tournaments like the Masters, the PGA Championship. And I'm pretty sure the next big tournament in the States is the US Open, and I'm pretty sure they'll have some Live players there, obviously. Okay. All right. But out of nowhere, a bombshell merger coming out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, a merger between the PGA and Live is happening. Two rival companies are joining forces to become basically one. Right? So two rival companies, especially PGA did not like Live. The commissioner, I don't know. This company came out and there was really no hints of it, really, like of this happening. Really, it just unexpected. It came out of nowhere. Do me a favor, if you're please like if you're watching. Really helps out the channel, and subscribe, please, if you're new. Please. Really came out of nowhere. And I believe this happened either on Tuesday or Monday. And the outcry, not the fanfare, but the outcry, the attention that's got, because this is major. Of course, this is major news. Okay? This is major news. And man, it caught a lot of golfers by surprise, and it pissed off a lot of PGA golfers too. I can tell you that the golfers on the PGA were pissed off because their commissioner, they thought the commissioner was their side, backing them up. Okay. Backing them up, basically. And the commissioner had a meeting at a golf tournament that was held in Toronto this week, the RBC Open, Canadian golfing event. It's not one of the big events that the PGA has. Not a level of the Masters, the PGA Championships, US Open, whatever. Not even close to those levels. But he did have a meeting with the PGA golfers that were in attendance at the event. And a lot of the big boys, a lot of the most well-known golfers were not at the RBC Open. But there are some guys you may recognize or heard of. Rory McIlroy, for example, might be the biggest name there. Okay, so yeah, so they had a meeting. The commissioner, right? And now the boys, the golfers were pissed. They were pissed here when they said they were steaming. They thought the commissioner had their back, but the whole time the commissioner was a turncoat. I guess you could say it's a turncoat. And basically sold out. And some of the players, some of the golfers even expressed their opinion, saying they get a new commissioner to run the PGA because they thought this commissioner had their backs with Live versus PGA. But go behind their backs, orchestrating a deal without telling beforehand. And it's kind of shady, kind of suspicious. And after everything, for 2 years, how possibly going to live golf. Like, going with Live Golf is morally like morals, because like it's a Saudi thing, right? It's like, really, are you sure it's like if you take money from the Saudi government, are you really selling out? And that's what some people have issues with, right? And as you know, the Saudi government, the prince, whatever, they've been getting involved in a lot of touristy attractions, stuff like that. They tried to get Lionel Messi. Remember, they tried to get Lionel Messi, but Lionel Messi is going to MLS. Lionel Messi is willing to go to the MLS, which probably offered less than would Live off. Not Live, but whatever the Saudis offered him. Okay, but Saudis are interested in wrestling. You know, they have the WWE 2 times a year. They got sometimes racing there. They're investing a lot of attractions there in Saudi Arabia. And you could, you could question it's the right thing to do, but money is money, right? Money talks. Money is greed, right? Money is talk. And you could talk about the moral, the ethics, stuff like that, the human rights in that country, in that area of the world, whatever. But when it comes to business, that's all put aside. Trust me, that's all put aside. Right? When it comes to business, your morals and ethics, your whatever, that's all put aside. It's, oh, you offer me this much money? I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. It's all put aside. You know what? I know it. Hopefully most people know it. But it's really put aside. And like, I don't really watch golf that much. I actually kind of watched a little bit this weekend. I'll be honest with you, I never played golf, so I don't know how to. I mean, I've seen golf on TV and stuff like that, but I don't know. I never hit a golf ball before. I don't know how to swing a club, stuff like that. I know the rules of golf, all of that. I know the rules of golf. It's pretty simple, actually. I know the rules of golf. I just haven't ever played it. It's a witch mess game, right? Golf is such a, high class sport, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's so ignorant. But yeah. But now, yeah, so, and you got people on the ESPN and all these sports networks. This is good for the world of golf. From a business wise, these golfers in PGA might make more money now. Eventually, to make more money. The purses, the tournament purses, that in golf, that basically means first place. Each tournament has a purse of a certain amount of money, right? Certain amount of money, winning prize, basically, certain amount of money. First place gets the most money, obviously. They win, they get the most money out of that purse. Second place gets money too, but not as much as first place. And you get it. But with more money being invested into PGA and Live, the purses for each tournament will be more and more, right? Be more and more. So whenever, say the PGA, say the U.S. Open, for example, next week, the U.S. Open, Golf Open, say the purse is $3 million. I think it's more than $3 million, but I'm just using an example. But now with Live in PGA joining forces, it's not official yet. They have to still go through the process of being official. All that, it takes time. They don't merge in a day. It takes time. But let's say in a year, that purse, that $3 million purse at U.S. Open, that could be what? I don't know, $10 million purse. Something like that. $10 million grand prize money. Or not grand prize, but a $10 million per, yeah, something like that. You get the idea. So I understand for business-wise, remember, I make videos on this channel, streams and videos on this channel, possibly WWE being sold to the government of Saudi. That's not the case now. That's not happening. The WWE and it's going to join Endeavor, whatever it's called, with the UFC. That's coming. I don't think it's a complete merger yet. I think there's still have to go through the process. I think it's going to be the merging process has to be official. I think it's going to be. They said officially by around the second half of this year. I guess June technically is to be in the second half of 2023 because June is the 6th month of the calendar year. But I think it meant later, second half, like I don't know, fall, maybe fall, winter. But yeah, this really came out of nowhere. Like really out of nowhere. Caught a lot of people off guard. ESPN, Fox, whatever station is in the world, whatever sports station in the world, regular news, golfers. Bet you golfers on both the Live roster and the PGA roster were caught off guard by this potential merger. It's not official yet. It's going to be official. Okay. All right. I guess I'll have to say about that topic. You can create a lot of money, I can tell you that, man. A lot of money. Now, feel free to comment below, guys. Feel free to comment. Please. All right, thank you. So I think I'll move on from that. Okay, let's talk hockey. Hockey, my sport from my country, home country, my native country of Canada. Hockey. Where do I want to go from there? from here with hockey. Okay. The Toronto Maple Leafs. I'll start with my Toronto Maple Leafs. My Toronto Maple Leafs, as you know, I made a video about this, have hired a new GM, general manager, to run the ship. That's going forward now. He is the one responsible for bringing the team together. Trades, free agency, draft, whatever. Now, they hired an assistant to the GM, former Phoenix Coyote, Arizona Coyote legend and great Shane Doan. Shane Doan was, as I said, was one of the most well-known hockey players for the Phoenix Coyotes / Arizona Coyotes franchise. Beloved and respected there. Played every single game with one team, with that team, every single game for his whole career. Loved and respected. Nothing bad about it you can say about this guy. Good player and has an eye for talent. Basically kind of like an ambassador, basically after for Phoenix. Okay? Or / Arizona. But he makes the move over to Toronto, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And now, Toronto Maple Leafs is no Phoenix, Arizona. You're in the big leagues now. Toronto Maple Leafs is one of the most historic franchises in hockey. This is different. You're dealing with the Toronto Maple Leafs now. But I believe there's a connection here why they went Shane Doan here. And I do believe this is I don't think it's no coincidence. I won't say it's a conspiracy theory, but I don't believe this is a coincidence at all because their star center, Austin Matthews, one of the best players in the NHL, kind of a down year to his standards, but compared to other players in the league, it's like a pretty good year. But to his standards, it's a down year. But he's in hockey, right? His contract, he has one more year left on his contract, right? And so next season he could be eligible for free agency. And so he's eligible to sign an extension a year ahead of free agency. What makes the Shane Doan move to Toronto so interesting is, I'm sorry, I'm doing hand movements, and I'm not showing you it. What makes the Shane Doan to Toronto interesting is Austin Matthews is American kid, American player for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yes, it happens a lot. But it's where he was from. He's from Arizona. Austin Matthews is from Arizona, and he grew up watching Shane Doan dress up for the Phoenix Coyotes / Arizona. He's one of his favorite players. He looked up to Shane Doan. I don't think this is a coincidence at all. Now, you could debate me on this if it's a coincidence at all, but I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that hiring Shane Doan is a way to try and convince, basically try to convince that we want you here. We want you here in Toronto. We want to sign you to an extension. Now, people are saying on Twitter, some people suggesting, they may not sign him to 8 years, but they may sign him to 3 years. I'm like, no, I'm not signing this guy to 3 years extra. So basically, if you sign him for 3 years, it'll be 4 years really, because next year will not count on the new contract. So, but I don't want him sign. I'm not signing this guy for 3 years. He's only 25, 26 years old. You don't sign up for 3 years, okay? I'm making sure I'm getting him at least 5 to 7 years, 5 to 8 years out of him. No. So I think that's obviously no coincidence that they hired Shane Doan to be part of the Leafs management to try to convince Austin Matthews to resign with the Leafs. Now, obviously, he doesn't have to resign in the offseason. He can resign during the season too. It doesn't have to be he doesn't have to sign an extension in June to September. He could sign it in next season too. Okay, during the season, not next season. Well, next season, during next season, in October when the season starts. Then I got a little confused there. Kyle Karen, what the hell is this? And what also hockey news, strange hockey news. Former Toronto Maple Leafs coach and Detroit Red Wings coach and Anaheim Mighty Ducks coach Mike Babcock is back in NHL after 4 or 5 years hiatus. And he's going to be coaching the Columbus Blue Jackets, who has made some moves to shore up their defense. And two trades they made this week to shore up their defense. First, the LA Kings is a 3-year deal. They got Columbus traded away draft picks and acquired Ivan Provorov, whatever, a defenseman from Philadelphia. But that deal, I believe, Philadelphia acquired. Was it Philadelphia? Columbus acquired Calvin Peterson, and LA took on a draft pick because LA had Calvin Peterson, and he took on some money. Philadelphia took whatever they got from Columbus, and Columbus got Ivan Provorov to show up their D. So Ivan Provorov is not in Philadelphia anymore; he's in Columbus. They also made another trade with the New Jersey Devils for David Severson, very good, solid defenseman, who is going to be an unrestricted free agent this end of the year. But you could, in NHL, you could trade the rights for unrestricted free agency before July 1st or 2nd, before they officially become unrestricted, before they file. So I could trade your right. I could trade for you, for your rights. So they traded for the rights of Damon Steverson from New Jersey. So that means they have the rights to negotiate a deal before officially becomes unrestricted free agency. And they signed to a pretty good price, 6 years deal, about $6 million a year. But they had to give up a third-round pick to Columbus. Had to give up a third-round pick to New Jersey. And Columbus has a very high draft pick too, because they were a terrible team. Don't be shocked if they trade that pick. I think they're trying to make a go for it. To make the playoffs. That's what I think they're trying to do. They had a pretty bad year, a lot of injuries, and I think they're trying to make a run for the playoffs next season. You don't make those moves if you're not planning to make a run. Now, Winnipeg Jets fans are not in a good mood. They're in a sour mood. Two of their top players went out Winnipeg. Pierre-Luc Dubois. Center, second-line center. Very solid center, very good center. Could put up 60 points a year. Is an RFA, so that means he's restricted free agency. The Jets still have his rights. And they control his fate. But he's made it perfectly clear he has no intention of signing a long-term extension. They have his RFA rights for 1 more year. And then he could be a free agent next season if they sign him after he plays 1 more year. But he has no intention of wanting to be in Winnipeg. He's made perfectly clear to the team. We heard about this about a year or two ago that he has really no intention to stay in Winnipeg. And Winnipeg's in a crossroads here. They need to trade him. Now, the team that's rumored, the team he wants to go to is probably his favorite team, his hometown province, his hometown city is Montreal. Be a Montreal Canadian. He's made perfectly clear that, according to insiders, that the team he really wants to play for is Montreal. But here's the thing: he does not have a say on what team to go. He could go for. He could get a trade with. Okay. Now, as an RFA, Montreal could sign him to an RFA deal, restricted free agency deal, but they'll have to give up draft picks depending on the price they sign him for. But Winnipeg may match that, or they're willing to work out a trade instead. I think they will trade him, but they'll have to trade him to Montreal. They can trade him into the team, and he might pull the same shit. If he doesn't go to the team he wants, he might pull the same shit on the next team he ends up with. Like, for example, if he goes to Chicago, he might pull up the same shit in Chicago. And when out of Chicago, his intention to play Montreal. And this is not the first time he wants out of the team. He wanted out of Columbus. And Columbus accommodated his It's request, and they trade him Winnipeg. Now he wants out of Winnipeg. And the guy's only 24, 25, and still a good player. But when you have a reputation of winning out twice on two teams, bailing on two teams, teams really start questioning your loyalty. Kyrie Irving, for example. NBA. And also their goalie, Connor Hellebuck, very good goalie, top tier goalie, is a free agent end next season. So he has one more year left on his contract. He made it perfectly clear today, on this day, that he has no one. Once he's free agent, he has free agency. Once he's a free agent end of next season, he has no intention of re-signing with Winnipeg. So he's made it perfectly clear that he's not going to be back in Winnipeg after next season, once he's a free agent. Now, the only option Winnipeg needs to do right now, what they should do with Connor Hellebuck especially, they need to look for a team that's willing to give up assets, and make sure that team they trade him to is willing to, or first of all, they need to talk to Connor Hellebuck. Look for a team that Connor Hellebuck is willing to sign long-term with first. Say New Jersey Devils, for example. Connor Hellebuck's willing to go to New Jersey and sign long-term in New Jersey. Winnipeg should do a deal with New Jersey and get more assets. Make sure the team they're trading him with has once the team that they're talking with. Make sure that team is the team that Hellebuck is willing to sign an extension with. Okay? Because you get more assets. You get less assets for a free agent to be. But if you're making sure that your player is any intention of signing with the team they're going to trade him with, you might get more assets. Maximize your assets. Okay? And if he has any intention to test a free agency, no matter what team he gets traded to, well, then get what you get for him. Try to get as much as you can get. That's what I would do. But I'm not a GM of a hockey team. Or am I? No, I'm not. Okay. I'm not. Yeah. Maybe I should be a GM of a hockey team. I'll probably be a good GM. I'll be a great GM. I'll be a great GM. Yeah. Okay. Where am I? Is that all the hockey stuff I have? Oh. One more hockey thing. We're going to move to basketball. Football. We're going to move to football after. Okay. The Stanley Cup has a chance to end on Tuesday night. The Stanley Cup. Tuesday night. There's a chance. Game 5 is Tuesday night. It's going to be in Las Vegas, where the Golden Knights will host. The Las Vegas Golden Knights host the Florida Panthers. Las Vegas are up 3-1 in the series, and it could end all Tuesday. I think Vegas should have won the Stanley Cup in 4. Just swept Florida, but in Game 3, Florida managed to score with about a minute left to tie it up in the third and win in overtime. Get the game-winning goal in overtime. So, but that was Game 3. They made it 2-1. But last night, Vegas defeated Florida 3-2, I believe. They take a 3-1 series lead, and you never know. Florida could come back. You never know. Win 3 in a row. They have to win 3 in a row. But Vegas has the huge upper hand in this series, obviously, up 3-1. And I do think it's going to end Saturday night. I think Las Vegas will win the first Stanley Cup 5 or 6 years after they were awarded an expansion team. Yeah, 5 or 6 years ago. They made it to the Stanley Cup in the first year of existence. That's how special that the Vegas team was. And Florida has never won a Stanley Cup, so we know for sure that one of these teams is going to win the Stanley Cup for the first time in history. So that can come to all ends Saturday. Not Saturday, Tuesday. Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. Okay. Okay. We're going to talk basketball, NBA. Let's talk the finals, NBA. I'm sorry. A lot like the NHL Stanley Cup, the NBA Finals could be coming to an end tomorrow night in Denver, Colorado. The Nuggets are up 3-1 in the series over the Miami Heat. Yes. They took 2 from Miami in Miami, Florida. And Denver is just 1 win away from winning the first ever championship. And Jokic and Jamal Murray will be winning the first title as a duo. Caldwell Pope will be having a second title on his resume because he won one with the Lakers in the bubble. But yes, so this could all happen tomorrow officially with the end of the NBA Finals in Game 5. A lot like the NHL Stanley Cup. Game 5 might be the final game with Denver winning over Miami. And I think they're going to do it. I think Denver is going to win tomorrow. I really do. I think Butler really has to go off, honestly. Butler needs to get to that level he once was earlier in the playoffs. I don't know if his injury is the reason for his production not being there as it once was, and it's because of his ankle injury he suffered in the Nick injury. Nick series, not Nick, yeah, Nick injury in the Nick series. I don't know if that's hampering him. He has some flashes there, here and there, right? But he hasn't really, been playoff Butler in this series. Now they need the other guys to step up. They really need the other players on the Heat to step up. They need Caleb Martin, Duncan Robertson, Strus to step up. They need to step up. Denver has been something that's been like when it's Jamal, like when they won their third game. Jamal Murray had an okay game. He wasn't great, but they had other guys stepping up. Like Aaron Gordon stepped up. Okay, Brown stepped up. Bruce Brown had like 15 points. Jokic was good. You have to have guys stepping up. Okay. Now Michael Porter hasn't been good. So when Denver's second best player wasn't playing well, they had guys stepping up. They need guys to step up too, Denver. But I think they have the advantage at home though, because they're the better team and obviously the altitude. Miami. The way to Miami get back in this game is just play their game. Physical, disciplined, control, smart basketball. The way they got into the finals is the way they should try to win the finals. Okay? And they have to make the shots from the three-point line. Because let's be honest, their best player, Jimmy Butler, is not a three-point shooter. Jimmy Butler doesn't shoot threes very often. Strus, Robertson, I guess Lowry from time to time, they shoot the threes. But Butler does not shoot threes. Okay? And the thing is, the debate now is Butler really truly a superstar, or is he just an all-star? I don't know. Okay? That's what you decide. You guys should decide. He has to be. He needs Lowry to step up, man. But we'll see. The finals is tomorrow. If you want to come on and talk, guys, feel free to come on and talk, man. Don't be afraid. I don't bite. Unless you want me to. Yo. Okay. Okay. Okay, so got some coaching hirings this week. Yes, we got a bunch of coaches being hired this week. Frank Vogel, I'll get to my Raptors, has been hired by Phoenix Suns. So the former Laker coach who did get him a title in the bubble is now going to run the Phoenix Suns, headlining by Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Right? He's going to be one He's going to running the ship with those two, leading the way for hopefully for championship. This is a lot of pressure on Frank Vogel. A lot of work for him. The one thing that hurt the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs was depth. It wasn't KD, it wasn't Booker, it was depth. You could totally see how the lack of depth was really affecting the series against the Nuggets. And yes, he did manage to squeak out 2 games against the Nuggets, but over the long term of that series, the 6 games they played, it really did tire out the 2 stars. Okay? So they need Frank Vogel is a good coach. But what Phoenix Suns need, they need Aiden, but they might get rid of Aiden. They might trade Aiden. But they really need to find the right pieces to put around Booker and Durant who could play. Who could, play solid defense, doesn't make mistakes, who could score a bit, so they don't have to put Booker and KD back in when scoring is going dry, when they're in droughts and stuff. You got to find somebody who could score for them off the bench or somebody that's a third or fourth option who could score. That's what Phoenix needs. They got the 2 superstars who could give them a title. They got that. But they don't have the other ingredients that can help them out, and that's depth. Because they traded their depth for KD, Bridges, Johnson, etc. for KD, Kevin Durant, the Brooklyn Nets. And you can really tell they paid for it. And yes, they did not have a lot of practice with KD because KD, once he got there, injured himself in warm-ups or whatever. And he didn't have a lot of time from the practice with the Suns or play with the Suns so they could, gel together. Right? That's how you got to do stuff. When you got new players in sports, it takes time for them to gel. So you got to do that in practice in the games, right? But with KD, they couldn't do that because he was hurt. Right? We'll see how he's able to, get a team over the hump, give them a championship. Because they've been eliminated twice in the second round the past 2 years. And fashion, actually. They're getting destroyed twice in an elimination game. And also, they were in the championship game a couple years ago in 2021. Championship finals against Milwaukee. But also now they might have to look for a new point guard to run the point because they waived Chris Paul. It's $12.8 million. Right? They waived his contract, Chris Paul. Right? To buy him out, whatever they do. And now that's a hole right there. Now they could try to re-sign Chris Paul for a cheaper price. I do think Chris Paul is on his last legs. He's clearing the decline. Obviously, he's in the upper 30s. He's hurt a lot. He's getting old. There was some definitely age in his game, you could say. I think if he will go to another team, he'll definitely look for a contending team that could get him a ring, that could finally get him a hump, getting a ring. He almost got one Phoenix, but he may go with another team. And I don't know, there's possible teams out there that could use a Chris Paul, get him over the hump. Lakers, maybe. Those teams in the East, Maybe, I don't know, Miami, Boston, New York. I don't know. The West, maybe there's been rumors. Maybe the Clippers back going after Chris Paul. Really, the Clippers. I think it's a chance to go back to Phoenix. Teams in the East. I don't know. Maybe Milwaukee. I don't know. I don't know about Boston. But yeah, there's definitely gonna be some interest in Chris Paul. If he doesn't go back to Phoenix for a reduced price. And yeah, we'll see with Chris Paul in Phoenix. We'll get to the Raptors hiring, but I want to get this story out. Damian Lillard maybe out of Portland. Is this the offseason? Damian Lillard might end up on being traded to a different team, right? Apparently, Boston is off his list. He's not willing to go to Boston, the Celtics. But apparently, Miami might be one of the teams. Brooklyn, maybe New York. Lakers, maybe the Clippers. Chicago apparently might be. Is this the season that is this the offseason that Lillard gets traded now? Now with Lillard, gotta respect this man. He's never complained. He's never bitch or moan about leaving his team, about anything drama-wise. You gotta give this man. The guy's 34, 33, 34, 35 years old. And I have no problem with him asking to be at another team now. At his age, it's not like Kyrie or KD or the other guys that are younger than him. I have no problem. He's given this franchise all he can give. There were some years where, you know what? Maybe. I think that with CJ McCollum there were some years where they were close, but they had to deal with those good Golden State teams. And yeah, they got Anthony Simmons in the high draft pick, but are they willing to be patient? Is Lillard willing to be patient, or he wants to go to a team that he could win now with? And he's 34, 35. Who knows how much years he has left? He's been a little hurt lately the past few seasons. Remember, they had shut him down end of this season. What the kind of player you're getting with this guy is not great defensively, but he's getting clutch. Clutch. If you're talking about a clutch player, Lillard's definitely up there. He's clutch all the way. So I really don't have any problem with Lillard asking for potentially being on a new team for the foreseeable future. A team that has a better chance at winning a championship. Right? All right. Now the Raptors, my Raptors, are going to about to hire Memphis Grizzlies assistant coach Darko Rajakovic. So I don't know much about this guy. I know he's been an assistant coach with the NBA for about a decade. From what I'm hearing, he's very good at developing players. He's good at developing players. Very good at drawing up plays offensively by passing the ball movement, stuff like that, which is good, which you need in basketball. That's how you win, ball movement. But apparently, he's very good at developing players, especially the Memphis team. The Memphis team like Bain, Brooks, a bunch of other players. He's helped with that. Clark, Jackson. With this Raptor team, we don't know what direction they're going in, but I think they're going to go into rebuild. If they got this coach to help develop players, it's clearly a rebuild. I can see Trent and Van Fleet gone. And this is the coach that's going to maybe help develop Scottie Barnes to that next level. Precious Achua, whoever they draft for the 13th pick, who knows? They might be trading up. Rumors have them they might be trading up into the trading him up into the top 3, maybe. But yeah, we'll see how this goes, man. There's a lot of question marks in Raptorland. Hopefully, this coach can develop some players today. Fortunately, they haven't done a good job of developing players in the later picks or later rounds. The Raptors have used to be known to develop players. They used to find gems and stuff. But lately, the past few years, it hasn't been the case. With Nick Nurse, who's now winning the ship in Philadelphia, is coaching the Sixers, and his arch nemesis, Anthony Simmons, but Joel Embiid. Yeah, he's coaching against arch nemesis Joel Embiid. Everybody, you heard me. But yeah, that's the Raptors for you, man. That's my Raptors. To me, if you want my personal opinion, I don't mind a rebuild. I think we should go for a rebuild. That's what I think we should do. The Raptors should do is go for a rebuild. I'm okay with a rebuild. I don't want to be in that middle where you don't know if you're going to go for it or you're going to rebuild. That's stalemate. Go for the rebuild. May take years, but I think it's the best decision. The best direction for the team to go is a rebuild. Now, you already got Scottie Barnes, a player to help build around upon. You got the 13th pick that could be that, might be part of the future. Precious Achua. Maybe has a future maybe a future. Okay. But I think if we're going to go to rebuild, if you're gonna go to rebuild, get some draft picks. If you could trade Van Fleet. And then if you could trade Van Fleet instead of signing with the free agency, they could sign a trade and maybe get some assets back, maybe draft picks and young players. Do it. Do it. Please. Please. Same with Trent. Please. I want assets because the GM is so stupid to trade next year's first round pick to San Antonio for Rajakovic. Now, top 6 protected. That means pick 1 to 6 is protected, right? After that, the pick goes to San Antonio. But it's still stupid. Really still stupid. I hate that idea. I don't like that. Like, seriously, I don't. Trading a first round pick for Jakob top 6 protected, it should be top 15 protected. I'm sorry. Because if you're going to rebuild, that really hurts, man. That really hurts. You really got to suck next year. Get to a point where you're really one of the worst teams and hopefully be worse than one of the 6 top worst teams in the NBA. Even if you're the 5th or 6th worst team, there's a chance you may be in the lottery and end up getting the 7th or 8th pick, falling down, dropping down to the draft. I don't know. It's something I questioned. Something I question all the time, man. Let's get some baseball. Then we're going to do some football. Okay. Jacob Degrom, once again, it's going to be out for a whole year and maybe start part of next year. The Texas Rangers pitcher is going to have off-season Tommy John surgery. Well, he's done for the year. That's pretty much a confirmation he's done for the year. Another blow to this guy's career. Remember, Jacob Degrom a few years ago was arguably the most dominant pitcher in baseball. Then he started to get arm trouble over the past 2 or 3 years, different kinds of injuries, and he has barely pitch. And this offseason, he signed a massive deal with the Texas Rangers. Massive deal with the Texas Rangers, taking a huge risk on him. And it looks like that risk is not paying off. And excuse me, I got a hiccup there. And now he's on Tommy John surgery, having a surgery about a year. It could be even more longer than a year. It could be he can miss some of next season too. Maybe the first few months of next season, depending on when he gets his surgery. Because Tommy John surgery is a long process. It's a long process, a long recovery. And this guy's been having injuries. But injuries have been taking. It's not like quick injuries. These injuries he's been having are long-term stuff. And I don't know this guy. This guy was one of arguably the best pitcher in the majors. He may be out of the league because of injuries piling up the next few years. I don't like players retiring because of injury problems. I wish players retired when they feel satisfied, had a good career, instead of them retiring because, injuries force them to retire. I don't like to hear that, man. I want people to retire because they feel ready to retire, not because of injuries. But I feel like it's happened before with pitchers, man. I remember Mark Pryor, phenom for a few years, had to retire because of injuries. Santana retired because of injuries. Johan Santana. And here the good news is Texas Rangers are one of the best teams in the majors. They're hitting everything, smashing, averaging like 6 runs a game, hitting ball everywhere. Offense is off the charts right now. They're like 20 games over 500. I think they're going to win the AL West. So even with Degrom out for the year right now, Texas is not suffering. It's not suffering. The question is, how's the pitching going to hold up and as the season goes on, right? And how I see it, they're going to probably add a starter. They're definitely going to add a starter. Okay, I think they'll add a starter. Because the situation with DeGrom, you know, I think they're going to try to make they're going to make the playoffs. So they're going to try to contend. I think they'll definitely add a starter, add to that team. So I'm not really worried about Texas Rangers. Down the line, maybe with DeGrom, I'm more worried about DeGrom, honestly, than the Rangers, long term. So now I'm going to speak from being a Blue Jay fan. It's really sad to see. It's really sad to see Alek Manoah get sent down all the way to spring training complex in Dunedin, the Blue Jays complex in Dunedin, to basically get a reset, a reboot. And it's not just him being sent to the minors, man. Not just a AAA. This is him being sent all the way down to Florida for basically tension, to get the tension away from him, to see what's wrong, why he's struggling, whether it's mental, mechanics, whatever. I've been watching him all season long. From my viewpoint, it's mechanics. I think it's mechanics. The issue is the problem with mechanics, and he's not having this guy. I'll tell you one thing: in the past 2 years, he's been called up, full confidence, full of arrogance. He does have arrogance. He does like to talk smack, trash, stuff like that. Full of arrogance. This year, all that's gone. That moxie, he doesn't have this year because he's been struggling all year. You can see in his face as he's pitching. You can see he has no confidence. But from what I've seen on the pitching mound, when he throws the ball, where I see his body and stuff land and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, it's mechanics. I think he's the mechanics of the problem with, and you're saying it, but this guy's success for 2 years, the same mechanics, right? With the mechanics, why you say mechanics? Because I think what's happening, because he should be the same mechanics as in the past 2 years. He shouldn't change, right? But I think what's happened this year, I'm not fat shaming the guy. I'm not going to fat shame the guy. This is not what I mean. Because in sports, weight does affect your performance. I'll say that. Weight does affect your performance. So I'm not going to fat shame the guy and say, oh yeah, he got fat. The reason he sucks is because he's fat. So, but I do think he put on some weight. And I know he says he works out at the gym and stuff. I don't know, man. Like, maybe he does, but what I do think he's put on some weight. And when he throws the ball, when he pitches, it looks like he's falling off the mound and slipping or whatever, falling off the mound. And the ball is not traveling where it needs to be. It's not locating the pitches, the fastball, where it needs to be. The fastball, every time he seems to throw a fastball, 90% of the time the fastball is up and away, not even close to the strike zone. It feels like he's falling off the mound. Now he doesn't fall like he doesn't fall like on his ground, but it feels, if you see it, looks like he slips every time. And I think it's a weight issue. I'm like, yeah, I think it's his weight. I think it's the weight that's doing it. I think so. Now he's in Florida to get a reboot, a reset, right? See what's the problem is. See what management down there. See whoever's down there working with Manoah. See what's the problem is. I think it's weight. Tell him to lose some weight. I mean, and don't get offended if a coach, if a dietitian, a coach, upper body strength guy, if a strength coach, a trainer tells you, yeah, it's the rate that's causing the issues. Don't be offended by it. Don't be offended because it's fact. Weight can cause issues in sports, man. It's not fat shaming. It's factual. It's not, they're trying to help you, not shame you. And I do think it's weight. And get down whatever as much as needed because I think that might help him. He looked bigger than he did last season. I'm like, when I saw him last season pitch, in this season comparison body and body, I'm like, yeah, this guy looks bigger than last season. He's always been a big guy, but he looked bigger this season than last year. I don't know. I don't know if it's like I don't know. They have people in the organization know better than me. Obviously, I'm not in the organization, but there's some reporters, some radio analysts, some whoever work in baseball industry suggests that weight might be the problem. Conditioning of weight might be the problem here too. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to say weight is the issue for your performance in sports because it's factual, man. It's factual. It's not shaming, fat shaming. Okay? It's not. And it's not a problem. I mean, who knows? Roy Halladay got sent down all the way to the minors. Roy Halladay tragically passed away in 2017, but Roy Halladay career was saved by getting sent down to the minors. He had the same issue as Manoah, not weight-wise, but he was terrible for 1 year. He had like an ERA over 10. That's 10 runs per 9 innings. You can't win like that. You can't pitch in the majors like that. He got sent down. They fixed what was wrong, changed his delivery. And ever since he came back from 2001 to 2013, 2014, he's been one of the best pitchers in the 2000s decades, in the early 2010 decades, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So it could happen. It's not. They're just trying to help you. It's not them souring on you. It's them trying to help you find the problems. Okay, find your problem because they believe in you. But that's all I'm gonna have here for the show today, guys. Yeah, nobody came on. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But thank you all for coming and listening. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, take care, guys. AWO pressing SmackDown and sports, wrestling and sports. Like, share, subscribe. Is out. Take care, guys.